Coming up on the Sports Desk, football week 4, the home games, here we go. The Saxons overcome early turnovers to beat Peninsula. The Tartars have another tough week, and the Knights, too, did not have a Friday night lights to remember. Prior to their game, Bishop Montgomery inducts the latest group of stars into the Athletic Hall of Fame. In volleyball, it's a Torrance showdown, the Tartars versus the Spartans. West softball continues the offseason hustle. The Tartars boys water polo teams are winning. We're in competition class at Shoot 360. Plus, Commissioner of the CIF Southern Section, Rob Wigod, is here in studio. We've got the who, what, where, when, why, and how. Let's get things started right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Sports Desk, your one source for all things Torrance sports. I am your host, Lesley Robins, bringing you a gateway to the brightest sports stars and hottest sports spots in Torrance. Before we get to the good stuff, we want to hear from you. Here are the social media stats. I'm at Lesley Mia. The show is at the Sports Desk TV. We've got email, Facebook. Tell us what's going on and what we need to know, because when it comes down to it, the show is all about you. Now let's get you in the know with some numbers. Week 4 has come and gone in football, but you know we have all the highlights right here. First up, not only did North High take home the dub over Peninsula, they recently moved up to number 4 in the latest CIF Southern Section football poll. Melanie Chacon was with the Saxons, who definitely have reason to celebrate.
Thanks, Lesley. It's the whiteout game at the Saxons Stadium, where North is hosting Peninsula. The Saxons are on a 3-game winning streak, and tonight they look to continue the trend with a win against the Panthers. A touchdown from Peninsula's Ryan Glover gave the Panthers the early 7-0 lead. Later in the first, a fumble from Ryan Glover is recovered by North's Koa Carroll, and that would set the Saxons up for this Stephen Bradford touchdown, and it's 7s after 1. In the second quarter, Trevor Lagarde with the option to Stephen Bradford, and he takes off. An 80-yard touchdown run.
Number 23, Stephen Bradford, touchdown, North High.
Bradford's third touchdown of the night would give North the 21-14 lead heading into the third quarter. The Saxons would score again. This time it's Koa Carroll in the end zone, and North would get the victory over Peninsula 28-21.
Did kind of what we've done in the past, which is shoot ourselves in the foot early and then recover, get into the game, get into the flow, and improve as the game goes on. So we don't like the beginning, but we like the ending.
I feel that we fought to the end, and I just want to give thanks to Coach Moss for helping us train during practice and getting us right and making sure that we can last the whole game. And I just give it to my linemen for not giving up and just keep on working the whole game.
I think we did good. I just told everybody to stay focused, stay motivated, play physical, and don't talk to the mess because the refs was just going off on us today. So just stay focused all day. I think I did good. I'm trying to beat the rushing yards for North, so that's my goal right now. Just got to stay focused the whole time.
Me and Bradford, we hang out every day at school. We're like brothers basically. He helps balance out the offense, and the defense. Honestly, he has most of the tackles, and he plays free safety. It's hard to believe that, but without him on offense, our passing game wouldn't work.
Just being comfortable and that I want to go out and lead my team kind of mentality. Obviously, he's gifted with some serious talent. He can run, he can catch. He played great defense. He was super physical tonight. Almost nothing. You can't fault him for anything that happened tonight.
Our goal is to just win league again and just be 3-time league champs and just keep on working and just not stopping and just keeping the train moving.
Number 23, Stephen Bradford, touchdown, North High.
Across town, it was another tough one for the Knights as they lost 49-14. Justin Thompson was on the sidelines.
Thanks, Lesley. It was another disappointing game here for Bishop Montgomery, coming up short against Gardena and falling to 0-4 on the season. Certainly not what Bishop Montgomery expected coming into this year after an 8-3 season last year. We'll get the highlights from tonight's game going right now. After Gardena struck first with an early touchdown, junior running back Scotty Strong responded with this run to tie it up 7 apiece. Despite the loss, Bishop ran the ball very effectively, something their O-line coach was happy to see.
We've been working with our kids really to just be coming off the ball and working really hard to get them moving forward. And we did have a lot of bright spots. We got a lot of young kids, only one senior starting on the line, all juniors and sophomores. So a lot of them are working hard and they're getting better every day, and that's really all we want out of the kids.
Gardena would then rattle off 42 straight points to put the game out of reach before Bishop punched it into the end zone one more time to make it a final score of 49-14. Even during this frustrating season, the coaching staff is staying positive with the team and encouraging them to continue working hard.
I want them to know that they are getting better every day, even though the games aren't going the way that they want. And when they fight through these tough losses, that's what makes them a stronger person. You know, they persevere through these tough times, and that's what's really important to us, is that their perseverance is the best thing that they can have in these difficult times.
And that message is resonating with the team, who still have high hopes for the rest of their season.
Wins will come, and the goal for this year is just once we hit league, just dominate, go undefeated in the league, go to CIF and win it.
Bishop will need that confidence heading into their next game against the Calvary Chapel Eagles, who are enjoying an undefeated season so far this year.
And then we have Torrance High, who is now 0-4 after their 38-0 loss to El Segundo. Cameron Stelly was there.
Thanks, Lesley. Torrance back in action tonight, hosting El Segundo, looking to recover from last week's 49-7 loss against Santa Paula. But when I spoke to head coach Rock Hollis, he said his team is resilient. They're going to correct some mistakes and work hard this week. And he also said he hopes they run the ball a little better. So we'll see if Torrance can get some things going early on offense and put some numbers on the board. Tartars back to receive the ball first and eventually turn the ball over when quarterback Matt McComas fumbles, and the Eagles are quick to recover. El Segundo then wastes no time getting points on the board. The first touchdown of the night comes from Scott Melton. Then on the second possession of the night, Melton again snags this one in the end zone from Connor Hochberg, making it 14-0 early in the first. The Tartars try to respond on this drive. Gavin Hart runs it up the middle to get a Tartars first down. Then the next play, Thomas Aceves connects on a pass from McComas for another first down. However, aren't able to finish the drive with a score. The Eagles then score 2 more touchdowns before the half. Going into half, the Eagles lead 28-0. This Tartars offense just can't seem to get into a rhythm and put numbers on the board. After the half, the Eagles completely dominate the Tartars. James Freilich running all over Torrance's defense, and the Eagles will go on to win it 38-0. Here's what Torrance had to say following the loss.
We came out strong. It was just a little bit of mistakes, just not making blocks, but you know, we got to fix these big things, and we were throwing the ball, we were getting the ball to move a lot, and honestly, it was just little, when it was in the heat in the moment, we broke under pressure, and it was just the little things that made us not move the ball forward.
We ran the ball well, I thought. We even threw a couple of good passes, but, you know, we're not consistent, and that's the thing we're trying to do. We're trying to be consistent.
The Spartans were on the road and got back into victory lane, all the while giving Mary Star its first loss of the season, 24-19, putting the Spartans at 3-1. West could not get past Mira Costa, falling 41-14, putting them at 0-4. And over at El Camino, scoreboards do not lie. In their recent away game, Elko crushed LA Harbor at Seahawk Stadium 70-7. The Warriors spread out the scoring evenly, scoring 35 points in each half. The defense did not allow the Seahawks to score until the fourth quarter, when the Warriors were already up 63-0. This game marks the second most points in the Coach Gifford Lindheim era. Can't wait to have Coach back in the studio. Well, coming up in studio, I do have the CIF Southern Section Commissioner, Mr. Rob Wigod. We've got 2 Torrance schools going at it in volleyball. The kids are learning hoops. Torrance boys water polo is winning. So too is the Lady Warriors softball squad. Plus, Bishop Montgomery inducts a new Hall of Fame class. Stay tuned.
It's not about where you were born. It's not about your gender or the color of your skin, or whether you're rich, poor, or in the middle. No matter what you play, if you have the skill and drive to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk. Lesley Robins here. Joining me now in studio, CIF Southern Section Commissioner, Mr. Rob Wigod. Welcome to the studio. Your first time here.
It is my first time here. Thank you for inviting me. Glad to be here.
Of course, we have lots to talk about, but let's talk about you first. You've been with the Southern Section for well over 30 years, from coach to commissioner. What gets you up in the morning? What gets you pumped about it?
It's easy to do that. To me, the motivation and the inspiration comes from the student athletes. The opportunity to see them involved in education-based athletics, which truly is a great thing for young people to be involved in. I don't have any trouble getting motivated to go to work every day and try to support them.
Well, you already jumped to something I wanted to talk about with you, the education-based athletics. That's something I talk about on my show all the time, the lessons in the losses and taking life lessons from sports. And you preach that every day.
I do. It's the classroom outside the building, and I really believe in it. I think I began coaching when I was 19 years old, and I haven't missed a season since. I just believe so much in what this does for young people. And so as long as it's that way, and we're the only ones who do it, trying to educate the entire student mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, it's all there on our high school campuses.
Now, we were talking previously, you give your email address out to folks and parents, students. Do you ever get feedback saying, thank you so much for what you're doing for us? Because kind of getting that education on the field is just as important, if not more important, than the classroom.
That's true. And we do get a lot of positive feedback. I think sometimes the perception is everyone we deal with is a rule breaker or someone who's not doing things honestly. But if anything, I could try to say to people, it's exactly the opposite. Most of the people that we deal with really do want to do it right. They do want to do everything by the rules. And so they're very positive about this, much more than the negative. And there is a negative, but certainly not that much.
What are some things you hear from parents just being so grateful for what you guys are doing for their kids?
I think parents appreciate the opportunities and some of the things that have happened recently, especially with our competitive playoffs, where new schools are getting opportunities that they've never had before. So I think that students and coaches, communities, parents, everyone is enjoying that chance when they're getting it that they maybe didn't have before. So that's something that's been very positive.
Now, do you hear from the students as well, maybe from Torrance? What are you hearing from kids that are just loving life within the program?
Well, we do hear from them, and we do get thank yous, and we do get questions. I always say to my wife sometimes when I'll tell her that I was contacted by a student by email, or sometimes they even call, and she and I both agree. I give them a lot of credit. You call up a stranger, someone they do not know, and want to talk to them. But that's why I want to be very responsive and receptive to them and let them know that I appreciate them reaching out, and then try to give them the honest answers and the best answers I can.
Now, they know, or maybe they don't, you don't make the rules specifically. Do they know that?
No, not everybody. And sometimes that can be frustrating for them because there's an expectation that I might wave a wand or just make something happen for them and something that they want. I wish sometimes I could operate with my heart and do what my heart wants to do, but I also know I have a job to represent the bylaws that the membership has passed, so I have to be consistent in how I apply those, and that can be disappointing for people. But I know we have a saying in our office that our Constitution is called the Blue Book, and we say that the Blue Book will set you free. Because when you stay with that, you stay with the bylaws, then you're on good, solid ground. When you stray from that, then you can get yourself in trouble.
Well, you mentioned one of your jobs, one of your past jobs, football coach. Obviously, we are full on football season right now, but one of the topics you've been talking about lately, not a lot of people coming out to play.
I know, and I don't quite know why. It's hard to see that, and I hope that that is something that can turn around. Some of it can be related to just numbers. I think we all know that the numbers of players have decreased. That certainly can have an effect. But also, if you think about it, even the marching bands, the parents would come out to watch the marching bands. And the marching bands used to have 100 members, and now maybe they have 50. And so there's definitely been a change in terms of the number of participants. And I'm hoping that it can start to go back in the other direction, because I think high school football is a wonderful game, and it's very, very important to a community and to everybody involved. And it is disheartening to see that maybe we are seeing a decrease in attendance.
Any thoughts on how to maybe get more kids out to play?
Well, I think we need to do a better job of our messaging in terms of the safety of the game. Certainly there's concerns about safety, but I think if you look at rules and changes made over the last several years, football is a much safer game than it used to be. And so I think that message isn't always getting out. And I hope that more and more people will realize that the rules have changed to make the game safer, helmet-to-helmet contact, blocking below the waist, all the concussion awareness and the protocols about returning to play, heat and hydration, just so many things that we've tried to do. There's more to do, but tried to do to make the game safer.
One game I want to bring up, lacrosse.
Yes.
Now, personally, I'm from New York, Long Island. I went to a high school called Ward Melville High School, top in the nation, top in the state, numerous times. I love lacrosse. So how are we looking for lacrosse to be now in the CIF Southern Section?
Well, we love lacrosse too. And this first time ever, this coming year, the 1920 school year, we will have boys and girls lacrosse championships in the Southern Section. They'll happen in May. People may not understand that we have a specific rule that unless 20% of our membership fields a team in a particular sport, then we can't conduct a Southern Section championship. So there's been a championship the last few years run by U.S. Lacrosse. Now we finally have over 120 lacrosse programs, and that gives us enough of the 20% now that we can conduct our own championship. We're excited to do it, looking forward to it in May.
And all schools get to participate? How does it work?
That's correct. Everyone playing now will be trying to make it into the playoff brackets. We'll have 2 divisions for boys and 2 divisions for girls. And as I said, it'll be the first time we'll make some history coming up in May.
Well, I will be there. Let's talk football playoffs. What are your predictions? What are you looking for?
This is the first year we've done something different in football, especially at the top. We have a combined divisions 1 and 2. At the end of the regular season, we're going to select the top 8 teams from that combined group and put that group into Division 1, then the other group will be into Division 2. So we're excited to see how that plays out. It's already starting to play out. There have been some great matchups among some of our top teams, and so that we're just about ready for league play, about mid-season now, and we'll keep monitoring that each week as we go.
Well, we will be on the sidelines. We hope to see you on the sidelines. And please come back to the studio anytime.
I'm happy to be here, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Okay, coming up on the Sports Desk, the Knights induct new members into their Hall of Fame on the basketball court with the little ones at Shoot 360, a Torrance showdown in volleyball between the Tartars and Spartans. We've got the Tartars boys water polo team, and West softball is grinding in the offseason. Stay tuned.
Swing, a Cy Young arm, or a Gold Glove. Just a desire, the commitment to end bullying.
To end bullying.
Of any kind,
anytime,
anywhere. We need more MVPs, more champions like you.
To join our team.
To join our team against an opponent
we are not allowed to win. We've got this.
If we've got you. Join our team. Choose kindness, shred hate.
MLB, ESPN, and X Games are teaming up to shred hate. Learn more at shredhate.org.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk. Lesley Robins here. To the volleyball courts we go, and an area matchup at its finest. South High girls volleyball hosted Torrance High, and both teams came ready to play. Torrance got off to an early lead when Alex Perryman made a big block at the net, followed by Willow Sanez coming in with the tip, then Perryman again with a spike at the net. Then South comes out strong in the second set. Kaylin Kuo sends this ball deep, and the Tartars can't recover. Junior Alex Andro coming up big at the net for South, spikes one over, then again this time goes up against Perryman, who can't get the block, and the Spartans take game 2 and 3. Then South completely dominates game 4. Senior Jesse Diekman goes off at the net, and the Spartans win the final set of the night. Spartan players Kalia Lopez and Dylan Rovegno share their thoughts on the night's big win.
I really think it was like the energy. We had a lot of really good energy, especially in the 4th game. That was like our key game. We shouldn't have, the first 3 sets shouldn't have been like that. We really like dominated, put balls away, we hustled, we went for balls. It wasn't like, let's send some free balls over. We were working really hard, which I think we did really good at.
We were really motivated and we really wanted to win this game. And so we came out with like a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of like energy in order to beat them. And so I think that it was a challenge for us to adapt to like them setting over rather than setting their hitters, because we're used to good teams who set their hitters rather than just dumping. So that was an adjustment for us. But then once we adjusted, we were able to pick it up and put the ball away.
Some other scores around town. West was away at Inglewood and took the day 3-0. Then the Warriors visited the Saxons and grabbed the W again, 3-0. South High was in Las Vegas at the Durango Fall Classic. It's where top teams from all over the country come to play. And the Spartans lost to a team out of Honolulu, Hawaii, 2-0. The Lady Knights have had a good run in volleyball lately. First, they beat St. Paul 3-0, and then they swept St. Anthony 3-0. Well, the Torrance boys water polo teams are making headlines once again. Congrats to both the varsity and JV boys. Varsity beat Venice 7-6 and JV took Venice down to 11-3. The West boys basketball team has reason to celebrate as well. After a strong 19-10 season last year, the Warriors have moved up a division and will participate in 2AA division. Congrats to Coach Payne and the guys. Now, while basketball isn't in season at our high schools just yet, it's a 24/7 thing over at Shoot 360 Los Angeles. Welcome to competition class for 5th and 6th graders.
Today we were working with our younger students on just the basics. We just build off the basics: footwork, jump stops, chest passes, kind of how to read the floor. We just try to build on our basic foundations, and then hopefully, as you saw at the end, we got into some 3-on-3. With that age, it's the beginning stuff. It's rough. It can be rough at times. They gave a good effort. We went from the beginnings of just how to protect the ball when you're guarded to even when your first move, when you're attacking a closeout, keeping the ball low below your knees, and that first step past your defender. In the beginning, I tried to work off 2 pivot jump stops so they can work on seeing the floor. They kind of struggled with that. So then we just went into rip it and finish it, and rip it and fake and attack. And then at the end, we played with those concepts. Our expectations just they have a good effort and they don't pout. And we actually have really good effort and energy. I think it speaks to the area, and it speaks to just the interest in basketball. Just in LA in general, it's just there's a high interest in basketball, so people want to get better. We have everyone from 1st and 2nd graders to NBA players who are members here. So you never know who you're going to run into, and I think it speaks to our management, and it also speaks to our technology. We have state-of-the-art technology, and if you really want to get better, you're the only one holding yourself back. It's unlimited potential.
A former Bishop Montgomery basketball player, Omar Smith, was just inducted into the school's Athletic Hall of Fame, in addition to many other tremendous talents like Lisa Van Wee, Brandon McLemore, Terry Zartman, Mike Zuanich, and the 1996 girls volleyball team. Justin Thompson was there.
Thanks, Leslie. I'm here at Bishop Montgomery High School for this year's Athletic Hall of Fame ceremony. Friends and family are starting to pour in for their loved ones' special day. And this year, there were only 5 individuals and 1 team inducted into the hall, a deliberate decision by the committee to keep this honor reserved for the school's best athletes.
We always have a small class. We try to keep it small every year because we want these people to feel special, and a lot of things are taken into account. How they did on the field and awards they won, and the other thing that we really look at is the type of person that they are and that they've been.
The recipients were all very appreciative of the award, and the emotion in the room was palpable.
Next, I would like to acknowledge my mother and my sister. I want to say thank you. This is as much for you as it is for me.
The event started in 2010, and each year since, previously inducted members of the hall will come back to support the new inductees.
Well, this is our 9th Athletic Hall of Fame class being inducted tonight. We always get a lot of our past recipients, past honorees in the Hall of Fame come back for tonight. So it's just a special night to have everyone back on campus.
After the banquet, the event concludes with the new members being honored during the school's football game.
We're going to bring the honorees out to the sidelines right before the end of the first half, and they'll get a little short bio read as they get escorted. Our song team will escort them to midfield as they get their award, and we get a nice group picture out there, which is always a special picture. So, yeah, it's a fun night.
And speaking of greatness or creating your path to greatness, here's the West softball squad, your 2018 CIF Southern Section champion, at it again, putting in the work during the offseason. That is how champions are made. And that puts a bow on this week's show. We will see you back here next week. In the meantime, here are the social media stats. I'm at Lesley Mia. The show is at the Sports Desk TV. We've got email, Facebook. Be sure to keep in touch and take us behind your scenes. For everyone here at the Sports Desk, I'm Lesley Robins. Thanks for watching.